My name's Ronnie Gray. I'm originally trained as a civil engineer, and in the early 1960s I joined the parts department as a civil engineer. About 5 years after I joined the parts department, we were offered this house as along with my work, and we moved up here. That would be just about 40 years ago from now. The house was built in 1838 for a Mr. Duncan, who was a bookseller and publisher in Glasgow. We think he was marrying for the second time and wanted to bring his wife to a new and larger house. The house was designed by David Hamilton, who was about the leading architect in Glasgow in the first part of the 19th century. He did many buildings from all over Scotland: Lennox Castle, extensions to Hamilton Palace, Nelson's Column and Glasgow Green, and various other buildings all round the city. He didn't last terribly long before he snuffed it, and his wife was left on her own. She stayed here for a while on her own, and then she had a break-in, and she chased the robbers down Balgrey Hill, allegedly firing after them with a shotgun. However, following that she moved out, and the house was vacant for several years before it was bought to be the manse of the Springburn United Presbyterian Church. The minister here was a Mr. Johnson, and he was minister for many, many years. His son, George Johnson, was an engineer. He formed a sort of menage with various people, his cousin and others, called the Mocar Syndicate, and they set out to build themselves motor cars. The first car was known as the Johnson dog cart, and it's allegedly the first motor car actually built in Scotland, and it was built here in the yard of Mosesfield House. There was a reading room which was used by elderly men right up to the time of the Second World War, along with museum exhibits which were ran from Kelvin Grove and shown up here. However, they moved out and decided not to reopen the museum after the Second World War. The reading rooms expanded into becoming the men's club. I think has been on the go continuously since about 1946. They've had their ups and downs over the years, though they still managed to keep it going with a fair number of members.
My name is Hugh McAteer. I was born on the 6th of the 2nd, 1915. Come up into Springburn in the back end of 1938. I came from the Carlton originally. We come to this club, I reckon, somewhere around about 28 years. It was a hard fact that one time you had to be voted into the club. There's over 70 a membership, and you had to get somebody to propose you. In fact, you could sit in here while the committee discussed you, and then they took you back in and let you know you were a member or not. That's how busy the club was then, how many members it had. I'd like to see the club go on and get more members actually, but it's a different ball game from when I was eligible for it to join this thing at 65. That's 30 years ago. Of course, things change. Everything changes, I don't know. It's just a pleasure to come to the place every time, and it was a haven, for somewhere to go when you were retired. Then you had the bowling club in the summertime, and then when the bowling club was closed, you had this place, which was actually great. We thoroughly enjoyed it. I've lost so many friends all over all those years. People now I'm talking to, you can sort of recall, and There are not so many members nowadays, unfortunately, but they're all great fellows.
I've been in Springburn since 1956. After I'd done my national service in the RAF, I came out and I met a girl at the dancing from Springburn and got married. And the cooperative at that time was the done place to have a reception in, down in Springburn Road. I've been coming here for about the last 4 or 5 years. The club is composed mostly of about 20 members, and of these 20 members, during my lifetime, I've worked with 2 of them in separate jobs. One in the shipyards and one in a shop fitting firm. And the shipyard was called Stevens of Linthouse, which is no longer there, unfortunately, as many of our shipyards have disappeared over the years. I think it's a great idea. It gets you out, especially for the likes of myself. I'm staying in a big house by myself, and it gets me out every day, and I get a blather. Well, as you know, they have card players, and they do jigsaws, large ones, that maybe take weeks to complete, and also the domino team. But I prefer to play the snooker, and I've just started playing snooker, and I never played it in my youth, because my mother always thought snooker halls were dens of iniquity, as you can imagine in these days. We're all friends in this club, so what could be better?
I'm 80 next month, 18 February. Up to this club about now, since I'm 65. I worked in, I come from Springburn originally. Springburn at one time was a right thriving area. You had 5,000 men leaving Springburn. With Hyde Park, St Rollick's, Cowlairs, Brabbies, all the works in here. All made to Springburn. Once you get into the 50s and 60s now, having deteriorates. The works and all that.
The glass house was built in 1912, partially funded by the Reid family, but mainly by the council. The winter garden continued in use largely unchanged until one day following a storm a large portion blew out, and on examination they found that the astragals that held the glazing in place had rusted away, and only 80 layers of paint were holding them in place. It was then closed and declared a dangerous building, but almost simultaneously with this it was listed as a listed building. Instead of demolishing it, they put a fence round it until they could find the money to restore it. That was about 1985, I think, and they've been struggling to find the money ever since.
Well, see, summer, it was completely different. You had no high flats, no nothing. It was one of the biggest, one of the best parks in the north of Glasgow. Saturdays and Sundays, no, it was mobbed with families, picnics and all this carry on, you know. Out the glass house, which was a hot house. It used to be a favourite during the summer and winter of everybody going in there for this and the heat and all that carry on, you know, the old plants and the palm trees and all that carry on. There are a few cages of bird cages and that carry on. I mean, you know, it's now a Buckfast restaurant. See, I'm getting it, you know. The way the corporation demolished the whole of Springburn. It was a working class place. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was never residential. It was a working class because of the Atlas Works, the NB Loco. Then you had the Cali down the thing. Then you had Calares. So it was and of course the cleaning sheds, the Eastfield, the railway. So all these are still the same. But now the Eastfield's still operational as a railway. There's no colours, this is a more of an industrial estate, you know, and then of course there's no NB Local, and there's no NB Local, and there's no Atlas Works. That's now all, that's where the college is, and etc. and that, you know, and that's all changed. You know, a lot of there's been coming and going, because when Cumbernauld was created, quite a lot went from Springburn to Cumbernauld, the new state of paradise. And then they went to East Kilbride. They went to East Kilbride and that, another place of paradise. Well, to the good, I suppose. Yes, but is it to the good? Because they devastated Springburn, the corporation, when they renovated this place. You know, or as I always say, I've used this expression before, they did more to destroy Springburn than Luftwaffe could do during the war. I would say this is 2010. I would say maybe about 10, 15 years. 10, 15 years I've been coming up here. Just for a game of snooker, just for a game of dominoes, and a bit of a giggle and a bit of a laugh. It's not no longer, as you say, Old Men's Club, you know. No, you're not political correct in this. Okay, you know, but I like it. It's a good wee club. We're a crabbit lot, but you know, they got on fine, I think, you know. We're okay.